Hello everyone and welcome back to another aquascaping video. Today I'm so excited to be making a little no-tech, really cheap and inexpensive shrimp bowl. So let's get started. First and foremost, the most important thing you'll need is a bowl. This one was actually free off of Facebook Marketplace. How good. I think it's around 4 or 5 liters. So I've got these rocks which I grabbed from my local aquarium. They were pretty inexpensive, about $12 a kilo. Next, I've got some super glue. This is just from the supermarket. And we've got our plants. I've chosen Java Fern for this one because of how easy it is to grow. I've got an old plant grow light as the light for this shrimp bowl, and I actually just removed the stake from it so that I could attach it to the shelf where the bowl's going to be sitting. And I've got some aquarium gravel. This is literally just left over from another aquascape that I did, so this was kind of free, girl math. The first thing I did is rinse all of the gravel. You know the drill, we don't want it to be cloudy, we don't know what's on there. So kind of just, wash it like you wash your rice. Chuck it in the sieve and give it a good thorough rinse until the water runs clear.
5 minutes later.
The next thing I needed to do was boil my new driftwood, which I purchased. This is to make sure that when I fill the bowl up for the first time, the wood's not going to float. Another way you can do this is by soaking your driftwood for a few weeks, but I'm impatient, so boiling it will do the same thing. Next, obviously you can see, is the fun part. I'm throwing in all of my gravel. This ended up being about 1 inch thick at the bottom of the bowl, but you can add however much you'd like for this. So it's time to add the hardscape. This next clip is so painful to watch. I could not for the life of me remember how I had the rocks oriented when I was playing around with it at the store. So you're just going to be watching me trying to figure out how they were balanced when I purchased them. I figured it out eventually and it looks really great, but yeah, I've created this little sort of half cave structure, which I thought the shrimp would love for hiding and just having some more darker areas in the bowl. So I haven't glued them together yet. I've just got them resting against each other in a way where they're supporting their own weight, and I'm just positioning that in the middle of the bowl. So my driftwood boiled for about 15 minutes on the stove and it's ready to add to the rocks. Now I wanted this to look like the roots of a tree growing over the rocks in sort of a creek, and I really wanted some of the driftwood to still be poking out of the bowl, but then I also couldn't figure out how to get it to fit in the bowl. So this is another really painful clip, but I did get it to work and I was really pleased with the result in the end. So it ended up with this really great sort of flat space on the top of the driftwood, which I thought would be perfect to place some terrestrial plants. And now we're going to actually start super gluing the driftwood to the rock, just in case, just in case it's not boiled fully, or if I bump the bowl, it's not going to completely derail the entire hardscape. So anywhere where there was a contact point between the wood and the stone, I just literally shoved the glue in there and let it fall where it may and do its thing, and this seemed to work well. I'm taking my Java Fern and it's time to add them in. So Java Fern is, I think, what's called an epiphyte, which means that its roots don't need to be submerged in any substrate, which is perfect because I just have gravel in this one. So I'm just going to rinse off the rock wool from the bought plant. You can just do this by what I'm doing here, running it under a tap and gently sort of teasing the rock wool away from the roots. I was very lucky, and the worker at the aquarium I went to very generously gave me some small pups or baby Java ferns that weren't established. They were just little cuttings, I guess. So I'm taking these really small, teeny tiny little Java ferns and putting a little bit of glue on the rock and then gently placing the Java fern on top just to sort of add some more detail up higher in the aquascape. So you can see there I've got 3 little Java pups all around. So to attach this really big one, I decided to glue the big Java fern to a little pebble that I had. This probably wasn't the best idea. It didn't work the best. My fingers got more glued than the plant did. It was a learning curve. I mean, it kind of worked. I just didn't want the plant to float because I knew it wasn't going to be held down in any substrate. The magic of editing, right? You didn't really see how long it took me to get these plants in there because they kept getting glued to the tweezers, glued to my fingers, anything but the bowl. But now I can add some water. It took about 3 or 4 of these big jugs of dechlorinated water to fill this up. And by pouring it straight onto the driftwood, I'm not disturbing the gravel and flinging it everywhere from where I wanted it to be. Yeah, look at that. my poor hands. So I got this little spider plant. This is a pup that was growing off of a big spider plant. You literally just snap it off of the sort of vine that it's sending out and you've got a free plant. So I wanted to stick it to this flat part. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and then quite literally just dunk the spider plant right on there. You'll see. Just hold it there for a few seconds so it can bond with the glue, I suppose. And I have actually fixed this, but I hadn't bought any double-sided tape when I was filming this clip, so I just had to use duct tape. But I promise you, I've used proper, very strong double-sided tape to attach my light, and there has been no accidents. Don't stress. I just took some frog bit from my fish tanks and I feel like this just added such a needed detail to the tank and made it look so much more lush than it is. And also this is going to help with filtering the water and absorbing excess nutrients because this won't have a filter inside of it. The most important step is adding some kind of waste to the tank. So I'm going to add a vegetable wafer to kickstart my nitrogen cycle as this is a brand new tank. So no one's living in here yet, but we will check back in a week and see what's happening. So the beauty of being fish obsessed is that you just have livestock randomly at your disposal. So this is our pond. It's been established for like a year and we have probably hundreds of native Queensland algae shrimp, I think they're called, living in this pond, which are acclimated to no filter, no heater. They're native to Queensland, so they're great with the changing temperature from the climate. And that's what I've decided to put into this little tank. So here I'm just adding a little bit of the bowl's water to their pond water. And I did this over about 3 hours, just adding more and more to get them used to the different water. I also added their pond water to the bowl as well because it's full of the bacteria that they're used to. It's got, you know, very scientific different water chemicals that they're used to, and, you know, it's not harmful because there's no one else living in this bowl but them. Here they are immediately after moving house. As you can see, their colours aren't so vibrant. That's just because they're a little bit stressed. Obviously, anyone would be stressed from moving like that. But native Queensland algae shrimp don't have super vibrant colours anyway. They're a lot more subtle. So here is our bowl at 2 weeks. As you can see, I did end up adding a ring or like a vine of pothos around the top. It just makes it look really pretty in my opinion, and the more terrestrial plants we have filtering this water and consuming excess nutrients, the better it's going to go, because again, it doesn't have a filter. So I've done 3 50% water changes in the 2 weeks this bowl's been established, and the little shrimp guys have loved their first week living here. They have become more confident. They were quite shy for the first few days, understandably. You can see their colors are out. They're like a mix of really pale blue and really pale orange. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope to be making more tank videos soon, super soon. And yes, I will see you in the next video. Bye.